Welcome to a deeper conversation. This conversation grew out of the word control. You heard a small piece of it in the main episode, but there was a lot more beneath the surface, because sometimes our definitions come from the moments that shaped us.
So I think one thing I learned with my professional career is I'm a trauma nurse. What I do is second nature to me because I've learned, because I've educated myself, because I've taken classes, because I've been doing this a long, long time.
How many years?
Emergency medicine, I'm 32 years in. So yeah, in one way or another. And I love it. It's something I enjoy, but to have control of what I know in my mind, what I know I need to do next, my next steps. I know how to save a life in different strenuous or stressful environments.
And trauma.
With people yelling, with chaos, and I'm hella good at it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then all of a sudden you get into a relationship where someone else is trying to call the shots, trying to control you. Sometimes it honestly starts off by feeling kind of nice, like, oh, this is nice that someone's wanting to take that level of stress off of me. Hey, you wanted to cook dinner for me. That's great. Like things that you don't realize, especially at first in a relationship, you think it's nice, you think it's great. And it is. However, what I got in trouble with, I got into an abusive relationship where it started off beautifully. I mean,
Perfect.
Yeah, ridiculously perfect, or so I thought, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's one way that abusers can kind of suck you in. And this particular individual targeted healthcare workers, specifically single moms. And, and I didn't find out any of this until later. He had a pattern of control and manipulation that was something I had never experienced. I didn't realize that someone who said that they loved you could hurt you.
What was the moment that you realized it was not healthy?
When my family and friends started questioning things. And so that's where I started having to kind of control the narrative, where I'm like, oh no, like it's not this, it's that, or this is his excuse. I'm making excuses. I'm trying to control
how they see him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking, this person says he loves me, like he wants to take care of me. He's saying all the right things, but there isn't action backing any of it up. But again, I'm the cycle of abuse is powerful. And for those who don't know what that is, please go look that up. It's very hard to get out of. And when you're in the midst of it, almost impossible. Mm-hmm. And so I'm trying to control it. Hey, I'm a smart, educated woman. I want to be with someone that's like this. Like he would never do that. And me trying to control my feelings towards it. When people are raising some red flags, I'm knitting the scarf with it, right? Instead of heeding that warning, I'm trying to control what's happening instead of listening to my gut, instead of taking a step back and listening to the people who have known me longer and love me the most. I tried to end it with him multiple times, and then he stopped me. He threatened me. He threatened my work. He threatened my parents, my kids, me personally, showing up, scaring me, coming to my therapist's office while I was there. So many hurtful, crazy, scary things. Even having a gun at me at one point. Not very many people know that either. But again, that control was so powerful, and he was able to suck me back in multiple times until I finally was able to get out of it. But it took a village too, and it took me getting to my lowest point to say I need help, and I needed to give that control away. I needed to depend on my family, my therapist, my kids to help me get out of it. So when I say control is letting go of control to be your most authentic self is really so freeing and so powerful. I don't know, it gets me emotional sometimes when I think of it. And then taking back my own control of my emotions and my life and not allowing him to hurt me anymore. And standing up for not only myself, but a dozen other women that he had hurt and manipulated and took him to court. Got a protective order, a stalking injunction. He's back in prison. Took a lot.
And a lot of women to get him in there too. Mm-hmm. I mean, you guys all rallied. Did you find out on the website? Is that what?
So there was I became the best pregnant investigator. my mind, right? Like
Yeah.
this is how us girls can kind of roll. But there was several things that I was able to find, and I had no idea that he had a rap sheet that was like, as thick as an encyclopedia. And there was only one other woman that was right after me that came forward. The other woman, he had done the same thing too, threatened and manipulated and stalked, and they didn't want to come forward. So I had to stand strong and keep with it and hold my ground. So, and took my control back and also let go of his control and let go of what I couldn't control anymore. I had to let that go. Did I want the scenario to be different? Oh my gosh, yes. Did I feel some shame and how could I let myself do that? Initially at first, yeah. I think we all do. Until I knew what a trauma bond was, I had no clue what had happened to me. So it's taken therapy, it's taken friends, family, and me asking for forgiveness for the things that I did as I was trying to control a narrative that I never should have tried to control.
What did you do then?
Again, because I didn't want to be wrong. I didn't want to think that, again, this person who said that he loved me was this horrible man that literally preyed on women. I didn't want to believe that that was actually what was going on. There was just a lot of lies, a lot of deception that he would tell me, that he would tell my parents, that would tell my kids. So I don't know if I can name just one thing.
So there's a bunch.
Yeah.
Didn't you find out he went like on a trip with his ex? Was that you?
Mm-hmm. That was one. He had multiple partners.
Did he have a job?
He would work like odd jobs. Again, I had no clue that he had been in jail before, or in prison actually, that he had a huge rap sheet, that he had done this to multiple people, that he had been married 4 times. There was so much. So much. So I think the biggest, I want to say, head that everything came to was when I wanted to end my life. And he wouldn't care. That's I was so torn because I was basically given the choice of me or my family, him or my kids. It was like I'm supposed to go all in with him. My kids are grown. I'm supposed to only be with him. Like it got to that point. And again, trauma bonds are weird. For me, was when someone who's manipulating you or hurting you, but then telling you that they love you all at the same time. And there's this cycle of abuse kind of that happens, and there's what you think is love, what you think is like intimacy or great sex, just sucks you back in. And he would make all these promises, and he would work, he would pay for things, he would make me feel like I'm most beautiful woman in the world, and then all of a sudden it would just come crashing down. Like the highs were like so insanely high, but the lows were bottomed out. The lows were a type of hell that I'd never experienced before. And so those polar opposites, your mind is wanting to get back to the high, right? I normally can hold my own, but with him I wasn't. With him I was like believing things that he would tell me. I'm not good at this or not good at that, or what I do isn't important. Like things like that. And all of a sudden I'm believing some of this. Yes. Yeah. Instead of me being this strong, like independent woman, I feel like I'm nothing. I feel like I'm belittled. And then in a trauma bond, you crave that kind of, I guess, a dopamine hit of that attention, of that affection, of the high. And then he'd give just enough of that to make you feel like, okay, we're good. And then it would last, maybe a day, 24 hours if you're lucky. And then part of his thing that he would do is he would ignore me, or he would take off and I couldn't find him. Or
did he want you to look for him? Is that what the game wanted?
Well, he also preyed on the fact that he would make up stories about his health, that he had a brain tumor, that he was in the emergency room, that he was sick. These things where I'm questioning it. I'm like, this doesn't make sense to me. But then he'd come back and validate what he was talking about. And then when I would start asking questions, my nurse brain kick in, and then I'd get in trouble for asking questions, or I'd get in trouble for being so nosy. Quit being a nurse and just be my girlfriend. So I had tried to leave him a couple of times before this, and then it came down to me needing to pick between him and my family and my kids, and it felt so horrible that I thought it would be easier for me to not be here on this earth so that I didn't have to decide. And when I got to that point, I still was with it enough to know, like, oh shit, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
This isn't normal. And that's when I reached out to my therapist for help. My kids knew I was in trouble. They like took the weapons out of my house, the meds I had out of my house. Like they were like, oh no, they stood by me. But there was a lot of damage. Yeah, gosh, sometimes it's painful to even talk about. And I kept thinking that I'm like, I need to share this. I've been brave and strong and done what I've needed to do. But sometimes you also shut the door because it's still painful.
Yeah.
Right? Like I never thought I would be in a position where like I didn't want to live anymore because of the man. What the crap? That's not me. I mean, I don't know, right?
How long did that last? I mean, like, was it quick? I hope.
Yeah, it was. I knew pretty fast that I was in such a dark place, and I knew pretty quick I needed help. Called. I got in within a day into my therapist, and
I love that you noticed it wasn't you.
I was grateful that I was able to at least see that. I was grateful to be one of the ones that could still see through that because I know not everybody can, and that's okay. But asking for help is like the biggest thing. So again, I gave my control up, knowing I couldn't control it anymore, and that gave me my power back to say, "Hey, I need help. I'm not okay." And that really was the defining moment for me. It still took me another 3 months to get out because this was the end of December, and it took me until March to get out. So because I had to be pretty methodical, I had to plan. I
Play the game.
I wasn't safe. He was an incredibly strong, incredibly angry, incredibly manipulative man. And so did I fear for my safety? Yes. Did I fear for my life? Yes. And then when I finally was able to leave, I still had all of those fears. So it was a big deal. So I was really grateful that my family still took me back. There was a lot of shame and guilt behind what had happened. And had to realize this wasn't my fault, that I wasn't the first woman he had done this to.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. It's taken me a couple of years. I had to forgive myself and realize there's nothing, once he had his eyes set on me, like there was nothing I could have done. So, except for listening to those family members and those friends and trying to get out sooner. But again, when you're trying to control a narrative and you're trying to believe that
The narrative
yourself, yes, and that someone who says that they love you means it. That's what you think. You don't think someone who loves you is capable of hurting you in such a way and being so manipulative and going to con their way out of all of your money, and they make the intimacy feel like the best thing that's ever happened to you in the world, and all the attention that they're giving you, and you're making you feel like $1 million at the time. And it's, yeah, like I said, the highs and lows were so extreme that I had no clue it hit me. Yeah. So the good of coming out of that and knowing like I can help other women.
Be aware.
Yeah, be aware. Know that they're not alone.
Yeah.
Know that it can happen to anybody. Right.
It's not your fault.
Right. And I had a lot of people be like, gosh, how did you get suckered into that? Like, and I'm like, at first I would be so offended, and they didn't mean it to be. They're trying to make it as a compliment. You're smart. You're beautiful. How did someone like this come into your life? And the only thing I can say is until you've been in it, no one knows. No one understands unless you're living. You just don't know.
Yeah.
And that's also something I realized too. You never know what someone's going through behind closed doors. I put on tried to put on a happy face and say everything was great and good. And
at first, at least.
That's what I thought. I mean, initially, like my kids loved him too. Initially, my parents thought everyone, he was good. So
that's the red flag.
There's no such thing. Yeah.
Right.
There's no such thing. Nobody is perfect. So yeah. So that was the catalyst of me being well enough that I wanted to end my life. Yeah.
And now life is everything.
Yeah. I get to be a grandma. I get to my kids over for dinners, and I get to hang out and talk about anything, and just repairing those relationships.
Are they repaired, the kids?
I hope so. I think it's a journey for everybody. If they ever want to talk about it, we talk. But for the most part, they're just happy to have their mom back.
Yeah.
One key takeaway, listen to those that know you the most and love you the most. And if the person that you're with is causing them to have red flags, like, listen. And it's not like I didn't listen, but I kind of was like, it's fine. Again, trying to control the narrative,
Right.
and making up all these not necessarily excuses, but the story that he would tell me to make me feel comfortable. I'm trying to tell them to be like, oh, no, this is why. And it shouldn't have to be like that.
You shouldn't have to explain.
No. And nobody should ever put them in between you and your kids. Nobody. Like, that's not okay. Someone who truly loves you is going to accept you and your babies.
Yeah.
And not never ask you to pick between the two. It doesn't matter how old they are. That's not love. Yeah, that's not love. That's manipulation.
Yeah.
What I appreciated most about this conversation was the honesty. Not just about what happened, but about how difficult it was to see while she was still living it. I also thought about how often awareness comes from other people first. Sometimes the people who love us can see what we can't. Not because they're smarter, but because they're standing outside the situation while we're standing in the middle of it. What stuck with me is asking for help wasn't giving up her power. It was the beginning of getting it back. Thank you for your story, and thank you for listening. Until next time, keep listening, keep wondering, and keep exploring the words that shape your world and why.